piece of
We're
programming.
live or
Yeah,
something.
I think we're live.
God.
Don't panic.
But yeah,
Let's
welcome to
fucking
the Thought
go.
Bubble.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're here.
yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about this week?
This, well,
Well,
yeah.
welcome to
First
the
of all,
reboot of the Thought Bubble.
it has been too many weeks since we have come back to banter with it. We had like a trial run on Twitch about a week ago, which I think we plan on like continuing into doing basically both of
Yeah.
those. This one will be like the most consistent when it happens in terms of timing, but
Yeah,
like.
because we've been famously good at that.
No, no, but in terms of like the time that it happens, if it happens, it's going to happen at that time. But in terms of the Twitch streams, I think we're probably just going to do those whenever we like really feel the need, whenever we feel ripe
Whenever
and
I have a
ready.
day off from
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I do have a few topics. I don't know if you said that you were feeling a little lax today.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I only so I didn't plan anything, and then I only just took an Adderall like 20 minutes ago. So we'll see how that affects the show.
Oh, is that going to make you more tired or less tired?
Probably less,
Oh,
usually.
okay. Okay, because I never know how Adderall affects people. Isn't it that it sometimes makes people sleepy?
I mean, I guess some
After
people
4 hours.
probably, but
Yeah, yeah.
no.
After 4 hours,
There's
usually.
there's probably a really
Well, I'm
happy
I'm
person
I'm
out there who's
extended
very tired.
release, so it doesn't really hit me. If you're just taking regular Adderall, not extended release, yeah, probably. You probably get that
Yeah.
crash.
I want to say though, as I because I've talked to you about how because for my topics here, I I've talked to you about how I don't want this to be like an exclusively tech and gaming show, but
But that's
but
all you have to talk about.
But also, I have four topics, and not a single one of these is outside of exactly that subject.
Which is really
So,
funny because so for anyone that doesn't know, which is probably everybody, the original concept for this show was, oh, we'll do something about VR and tech and like talk about the platform, but like secretly after a few episodes just go into talking about random bullshit.
yeah,
That was the original plan, and then we just ended up doing it the original way anyway because that's all we talk about.
I think instead
Every now and then.
it happened the other way around. I think because we started like for I don't know 15 minutes talking about tech shit, and then we'd veer off into absolutely any other direction, and then just looped back around to tech shit, just because
Well,
there's a
yeah,
lot that
but the
happens
original
with it.
idea was to do tech for the first few shows.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I
Whether
do
or
want
not
to
it went
say.
that way, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to come back around, but I want to say this is like this first one is just a throwaway one, but I just really want to get on my fucking enthusiasm with it because I've been irrationally frustrated over how long because I tend to get I don't know if it's because I'm Canadian or whatever, and like we get updates at different times, but like I tend to get like Quest headset updates like 47 years after they're supposed to go out, and so I just got V63 like a week ago and there's
Hmm.
only one feature that I'm like, because usually with these updates, I'm like, I'll just see if people have anything to say about like what's in there. Otherwise, I really don't give a shit. Like, but but there was one that I was looking forward to because I'm like, there's certain apps that do this, and it's great when they do. I just wish it didn't have to be the individual apps that did it. Laying down mode. If you are on V63 of your Quest's software, is now something that you can universally use across VR. They
But
do mention it's in.
not
Oh,
on a Quest 3, really annoyingly. Only on
not
a
on a
Quest 2.
Quest fucking 3.
No, no, nobody knows
Wow.
why. They haven't told
That's
us.
That's bone dead stupid. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. But yeah, um, yeah. So I'm on a quest too, and I've been able to enjoy laying down mode, which basically, if you've ever used VR chat, it works basically the same as their horizon adjustment feature, where it's just like you settle into a spot, you hit the button or you hold the button, and it establishes your forward viewing angle as that based on like whatever height it knows you are at the time in your play space or usually are or whatever. Um, and it's worked pretty well. I like it better than big screen's built-in adjustment, and so I just use that one anyway because it can just work instantly. Because you got to like do the to raise the angle in big screen, but yeah, but it's closer to instant than that within the inherent feature. But yeah, it makes it so that if there's any apps that you want to use laying down, especially for accessibility, if you get hurt or if you literally are like bedridden with like a terminal illness and you just need some escape in VR, knock on wood, hopefully that never happens to any of you.
Did
But
somebody
you
just
can still
giggle
use it.
about a terminal illness? Is that what I
I thought
just
that
I was
was a
heard
only
you
horn
say?
thinking
honking
it doesn't
outside.
have to be. I was giggling because it doesn't have to be terminal. It could be mild flu, you know. That's
It
why I was
could.
giggling.
It
It's
could.
like,
I
Yeah,
pr-
it could
that's
be.
fair.
Or laziness. I mean, come on.
yeah,
Let's
it's
be
like
real.
if you have
It was
COVID,
just
if you
really weird to hear, like, oh, if you have a terminal illness.
well, because like yeah, there's like a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people who like literally can't get out of bed and for long periods of time
Yeah.
who want to
Yeah.
use VR. Who now you have a reason to get a Quest 2 headset and not Quest 3 for some ungodly reason. But um yeah, and they do emphasize that it's intended for more relaxed experiences, of course, because you in most cases while laying down you don't want to like fucking Beat Saber flail around, but it functions the same way as standing VR, so use it as you will. And I've been really enjoying it, even though when you're in social spaces, it looks like you broke your neck because you can only move your head so far. That's the only caveat. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited about that. It just makes everything in it makes everything in VR just a little bit easier, especially if you're fucking tired and you have something to do. Which, by the way, you might be able to take. Wait, no, you're on the Quest 3. You might, I was gonna say you might be able to take up that offer. Um,
Yeah, so the next question is, will DoorDash come to your bedroom?
will
Then you
DoorDash
can
come to your
just stay
bedroom?
in bed, or your
Amazon
bed will live
drones.
for me.
Oh dear.
Yeah, yeah. For the
Yeah,
second one,
just hand
uh,
feed me.
That could lead to so many ways.
for the second topic, I'm gonna knock your headlights out, Ashley, in a good way.
Uh-huh.
If you haven't heard about this already, you might have. There's a solid chance you have. But if you haven't heard about this, there's a dude that with some buddies and his wife is developing. I saw like a breakdown video for this on IGN. Something called Starship Simulator.
I
And
have seen
Oh yeah,
a
yeah.
TikTok about it and I did not watch it.
oh, okay. So just to break it down, it's basically now you are in a functioning, like mostly at least, functioning. Some things are procedurally generated, but it is a shared universe. I think it's the Milky Way galaxy or some real world adjacent thing. Um, and yeah, you do like real to life scale space exploration, your own ship. You can't it literally every single function, the way they worded it, every single nut and bolt of of the ship, was specifically engineered to like work as if like this kind of ship could in real life. There is not a single panel on the ship that doesn't serve a function. There is object permanence for everything, and it has special ways to load it to retain performance. And it has multiplayer. The outfits are basically just Starfleet uniforms, which I mean it's fitting. And it has AI autopilot for like normal AI, not the fancy schmancy AI we've heard so much about. It has like gaming AI autopilot for like in case you just feel like doing one thing on the ship and none of the other stuff, or if you just want to be a guest on the ship and roam around as you see the crew members do their stuff, literally even go to the bathroom, and go to sleep, these like AI autopilot crew members do everything necessary to sustain the ship, as you could just like watch space go by, or you can bring in a bunch of friends and control it together. And they're planning on bringing in a bunch of stuff for like to make it closer to like D&D-esque campaigns. I know you're familiar with the Star Trek RPG. I assume it's going
Mm.
to be relatively similar to that. And yeah, I wanted to see what you felt about it.
See, I feel like you're gonna be disappointed by my feeling about it. Which is like, okay, yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
cool. I'll probably end up playing it a little bit, but
It's free.
Yeah, it's gonna be free.
well,
Yeah,
the demo
it's Kickstarter
is
back. Yeah,
okay. It's
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
yeah. I mean,
yeah. I just I could see
but not out
because
yet.
they also have a VR support planned for the future, which I know you've kind of gotten sick of VR largely, but like it is gonna be fun to go around in a fucking enterprise. Um, and yeah, and you could do the
Yeah,
engineering
my
stuff and everything.
see, my thing is that when I watch things like Star Trek, my desire isn't, ooh, I wish I could be an engineer. You know?
And you
It's
don't
like,
have to be. Yeah.
I wish that I was just one of the regular people that don't get to choose where the ship goes and interact with all of the aliens,
Yeah, you can do
But
which
you
that.
I don't
can.
even
You can be.
see.
Lower decks.
You can.
Well, I know
You
you
can be a.
can. That
Yeah,
is
lower
what I'm
decks.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you can be a
That
passenger where you do nothing and just
Yeah,
like
yeah, you could be a
watch.
passenger.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's
Or
what I'm saying is that
yeah, yeah.
zero times in Star Trek have I been like, oh, I wish I was that. Absolutely zero times. My desire for Star Trek's type world, where like a ship simulator would make sense, um,
Hmm.
is one where you have a universe like Star Trek, where there's so many different alien, communities interacting with each other. Which I don't see. Are there aliens playing for this? Because I don't see a single
I think they
thing that
have it
isn't a
planned.
human.
At very least, upon release, they want to like have they want to have interactions between the ship's crew and like the civilizations, the civilizations of the planets that they encounter, procedurally generated like histories and cultures, which we'll see how far that goes in terms of if it gets repetitive or not. But yeah, so
they
there is
they
like there is a
Yeah.
level of that.
they said in the video that once they've kind of got it sort of up and running, that all the development effort is going to be on different civilizations you meet. So they're gradually going to build a
Mhm.
library of encounters, but we shall see.
Yeah, they're gonna put a whole team on literally just adding content. Yeah, and a separate team is gonna be for like maintaining the, battening down the hatches and everything. Yeah, I'm
Who's making this fucking game? Dev Diary. Who are you people?
yeah. And in
See,
case
this
you
is
lost
what I
track,
do
it's
whenever there's a new fucking indie game where I don't know any of the people that are making it. It's just like, who the fuck are you, and can I believe that you're actually gonna make this game?
I saw the like it wasn't just like because I saw the clips of like everything that was happening and I'm like even if it's just this experience I'm still excited for it, but the fact that there's so much more promised is really hooking to me. But yeah, so for those who want to Google it, it's literally I'm pretty sure just called Starship Simulator, and
Yeah,
it
it
is
comes up as something
incredibly Star
Stevie.
Trek but not Star Trek. That's it's they're not even trying to beat around the bush in terms of the visual aesthetic. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's either going to be great or they've massively overpromised, as often happens,
Yeah.
and there's going to be loads of really disappointed people, and they don't deliver, and
Right.
new team do too much. Who knows?
What I
Yeah,
said before,
Yeah.
wait, sorry, what he said before I megaphoned him was, "It's either going to be great or this." I only managed to catch you to megaphone after you
oh
started saying the disappointing thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
See, my
yeah, just
worry,
overpromise.
especially with something this big of scope, is Star Citizen exists and is a great wary tale for
Yeah,
people who want things like this, because Star Citizen is almost exactly kind of the promise of like, oh, you're going to be, nitty gritty Star Citizen, you are living in a world like Star Trek's kind of advancement. I'm not sure what the whole world is for Star Citizen because fuck if they'll ever finish that game. Um, but that's my worry, is that things of this scope I've only seen actually end up working once, and it took years, and that was fucking No Man's Sky.
I literally was
oh
just gonna
yeah,
say
yeah,
because like No Man's Sky massively under delivered, but like over the course, and I'm not saying this happens in
yeah.
every case, but over the course of years, it actually is like, oh, now, like if you buy it now, literally you watching now, if you buy it, it's much closer to what they promised than it was on release, and I mean, people who stuck around tend to enjoy it. People who came in much after the fact tend to leap for it. It does have VR support if you're curious, and I don't know if No Man's Sky has like like a crew system for ships if you have like a bigger ship, like if you want to do that, or if it just has the individual ships. I only know about that portion, but it does have all sorts of space exploration, different planets, different stuff you can collect and build, based on just being a space nomad. Yeah.
See, my favorite game that is like, hopping around different planets, having your little ship simulator. Let me see if I can find it in my Steam library before I fuck up its name. Oh God, I have 900 games in my Steam library. I'm never gonna fucking find it. Let me see. Can I
Just search
tag it with
search
like
star
sci-fi?
something. Anything star, sky, space.
But I don't think it actually has that in its name.
Oh, you
that's
gotta
that's
be
the
kidding.
sad part.
Odyssey.
No.
Frontier. Um,
Pulsar Lost Colony.
Bob Works has joined the space.
So Pulsar Lost Colony is a lot like it's a ship simulator. You have, I think it's 4 or 5 different positions on the ship. You go around exploring different planets, and on those planets you can find people and interact with them. It's not as grand scale necessarily, as far as I remember, um, as something like this Starship Simulator. But at least it's finished and it isn't bad. Like, that's what makes me so scared of these, like, oh, huge sci-fi world thing. Is just like, but it's not gonna be that good. It can't be.
oh,
If it was possible for you to make such a good game like that, the Star Trek would have a fucking game like that.
that's a very good point. Though I always tend to think that when there's like this perfect idea that would make them every money, and that they have the resources to pull off and they just don't do it, I usually expect that there's just some corporate lawyer something reason as to why they inherently
I,
don't.
I think
But
one of the problems with things like Star Trek games is the licensing costs are so colossal that half the dev money goes to pay for the license, and
that's probably
that's an
true.
issue.
That's
Yeah,
fair, but there
yeah.
was
But
I don't know. I
but the
don't
point
think
still
it was a
stands. I think.
Telltale.
Why isn't it out? If a indie dev team can knock up something so stunning, then yeah, um, what's different this time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
What
it's
made it
disconnect
easy
from the
this time in
franchise.
comparison?
Yeah, it's disconnect from the franchise is perhaps like what was in their way theoretically at least. But yeah, it's I like that there's a demo at least. I haven't even played the demo. Let me say that. It has a free demo you can play right now, but I don't know. I like it. Here's my thing. When there's games like this that are announced and they're hyped up, like when there's games just in general that are hyped up to the nth degree, I usually like to get on the hype train, and then even if it releases and everybody loves it, a super hyped up game, there tends to be, I can't really describe it, but I tend to like start forming a disconnect once it actually releases and people start playing it, and I'm like, oh yeah, right. That was a game that I probably wasn't going to like super learn to play, and I also don't want to put like time into watching other people play it, but I enjoy the hype. And so probably what I'm experiencing now is the biggest thing I'll ever get out of it. Um, unless it's like a super intuitive, and I mean, like it's again, it's a game where if you really want to, you can throw like nothing effort into it, and not really have to learn any like complicated controls or skills or dynamics with it. And so I guess a learning curve just doesn't exist with it. So if it does come out, it'll be a different case. But yeah, I just like hype. I like hype.
See, another thing I'm wary of with indie studios is them
Hmm.
not telling me what they've worked on before.
Ooh.
I don't know a single damn developer on this. Like, not being like, oh, I don't know their names or whatever. I can't find their names. I can't find anything they've worked on in the past. They're not
Oh,
like, oh
you
yeah,
literally can't.
we want to do this really ambitious thing, and here's our credentials. Who the
Mm,
fuck are you?
Like, are you Googling around and
mm,
you like literally can't find it right now?
I'm like on their website.
That's concerning. Um,
mm.
though I guess
That
coming out
would
of the
be the
gate
first
swinging if it does
thing
work.
that I would expect from an indie studio doing an ambitious game like this. And they even think they're ambitious because their pinned tweet reads, there are many great space sims out there. Some beautiful ship interiors, some have stunningly realistic galaxies, and others have impressive simulated ship systems. There's even software that allows you to soar through the cosmos seamlessly without loading screens. But what space sim genre lacks is a title that features all of the above until now. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. That is a lot for no fucking
Okay.
credential,
Okay.
flaunting.
I just noticed
So-
other massive issue. They're trying to raise.
Sorry, I'm trying to
quarter of
find
a
the cursor. Wait,
million
hold on. Just hold that thought.
pounds,
There you go. There you go.
About 300, bit over $300,000 on Kickstarter, which isn't enough to make that sort of game.
No.
First problem. Second problem, they've raised £65,000.
Ah. Mm.
Yeah.
Which
My-
development studio is this? Sorry, I missed that bit.
Say
Have
again?
we even said the name? Bob was asking about which development studio.
Oh, this is
What they
Fleet
call
Yard.
it.
This is their
Yes,
first
Fleet
game.
Yard. Yeah.
Ooh.
On their
Okay, that
Kickstarter right now, it
sounded
says their goal was $81,000 US, and they have 320,000. So it's
Well,
more
that's
than
on-
backed.
Oh, that's different from what I'm seeing on there.
Oh, okay.
What
on their
is
Kickstarter.
actually fucking crazy about that though? $320,000, only 3,000
nothing.
backers though.
Yeah.
It won't
and
be
that's
one
That
not
that
enough
seems
to raise-
wildly inflated. Only
That's-
3,600 people are
Yeah.
backing this project and has that much money. That's fucking crazy.
What
that is
fucking
not-
Silicon
that-
Valley convention
That is
did
not
they
enough
go to?
to make a game like this unless everybody's doing it for free for a long time.
So
Yeah.
So like wait,
Yeah,
so
and I
Ashley,
don't want to be rude, but
Right.
every asset I'm looking at so far does not look like they made it.
Mm.
It looks like they got it from the
Oh.
Unity Asset Store or, one of
Mm, yeah.
I
those
was about to
like
say the same thing.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
I didn't want to poo-poo on the parade. However,
I mean,
Yeah,
to
I
be
think we've
fair, you have
successfully-
you have found every logical reason to poo-poo on this parade. I'm gonna say this. For the sake of just hype is fun, I'm gonna continue on that this is gonna be a cool train, but I'm also going to understand they're gonna go forth understanding. I'm holding on to straws here probably, but hey, I'm gonna have a great time showing you if it if it does come out and it delivers every single promise. But
also their
unfortunately,
stretch
you do have a lot of good
goals.
points.
Their first stretch goal, I don't know what the amount was because they covered it up now because it's funded, but their first stretch goal was add VR support. Their second stretch goal was add shuttles. Huh?
Mm.
What?
Uh-huh.
What?
Their third stretch
Okay.
goal, which they have not reached yet, is planetary landings.
Oh, no.
Would that not be
It
part
sounds
of
like
the
it is.
fucking game?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
It's
Main
dangerous
part.
like 10 years to get planet landings nailed.
That should've
Wait,
been
Elite
first.
Danger. Wait, hold on, Bob. Wait. We can't just roll over that, Bob. It took Elite Dangerous 10 years to get planetary landings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't gonna bring it in at first, but then they figured out a way, and then they worked. Yeah, it's been like a side project, but yeah, they've been trying to do it for so long, and then they finally did it in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Yep,
get,
they did it.
I'm again. I know fuck all about game development. I'm surprised that it would take 10 years, but I'm sure there's a reason.
Yeah, it's complicated stuff. Yeah, basically they're playing the game backwards, where the player doesn't move, the world moves around them, and everything kind of scales. So it's like, yeah, it's crazy. And then you have to transition to a place where you are traveling through the world. Then it's mad.
Oh,
And then
wow.
sync it all up with networking too. So yeah, that's why it's took so long. It's ambitious.
Oh, that makes sense.
Very
And then you got to like
Oh,
put work
yep.
in all the worlds and everything.
Would you like to know the rest of the stretch goals?
Oh God,
Nah.
now I'm okay.
So
well, let's
300,000
chew on this.
pounds, 300,000
Yeah.
pounds for planetary landings. 380,000 is add standalone ship versus ship game mode, which is okay, fair enough. That's a cool stretch goal. 500,000 is create a dedicated content team. Fuck off.
Wait,
what?
wait.
That's what is that? That sounds
Oh, I guess-
ridiculous.
I guess that does like match with what they said in the sneak peek. It just they didn't say. I guess they didn't like
Because-
set the expectation for where it would be, but yeah.
And then 750,000 is create the first story-driven campaign. So we're getting no story unless we reach 750,000 pounds on Kickstarter. And
Oh,
1
God, that
million
cough speaks
plus.
volumes.
1 million plus officially licensed standalone content. I don't even know what this means. With enough funding,
No.
we'll look at licensing one or more vessels from classic science fiction. Oh, they'll just add
Oh,
other ships.
they'll just add
Oh.
Star Trek, like just
They'll probably
fucking say the
Oh,
quiet part
yeah.
out loud and add Star Trek in there.
Like there's gonna be
Over time, we'd like to build a library of accurately modeled and fully simulated classic vessels. Good luck with that. Star Trek was not fucking made to be actually walked through. Good fucking luck.
Though,
Well,
okay,
it's
now
fair,
now
they,
with
I mean,
with
they
okay,
built
hold up.
a pretty good. There was a pretty good sim of a. You can sort of do that. I mean, it's been built in alt space, and I think it moved to VR chat.
Yeah,
An
there's a VR
interior.
Can we
of,
say they're accurately modeled?
Then ish.
Yeah,
Wait,
ish.
here's the thing.
Ish is great, but if you're doing a fully seamless, you can walk room
Yeah.
to room.
Yeah.
The original Enterprise has like way too much in it to actually fit in its
Yeah.
size.
People
And
don't
also-
realize
also
how big
you've
this
got to
fucking ship is.
you've also got to make it functional. And the Enterprise wasn't functional; it was prop.
Yeah.
They push random buttons. You've got to then suddenly add functionality to stuff that didn't have any.
Wait.
But either way, all of this is a pipe dream anyway. There's no way they're going to make $1 million.
No,
No way.
no.
But there's an elephant in the room here on that topic though, because like for me at least, because you have talked about how there was like that Voyager game that I'm still used to, like when I was a kid, calling it Voyager because someone told me that's how Star Trek Voyager is pronounced. And then I just never let it go. But yeah, so there was that Star Trek Voyager game that you used to love playing, and I want to know, like, did they just take an ass ton of artistic liberty, or because that was
Well,
a relatively seamless
the
experience.
issue, it was not seamless. You had to go in the fucking turbo lift to get anywhere.
I guess.
You could explore a bit of one of the floors at a time.
Oh, okay. You
The
just made it look
individual rooms
seamless.
were really great. It feels seamless because it loads instantly because it was a game from the fucking 90s or something. But yeah, no, they get the individual rooms like the warp core, and this is Fleet. No, it's I don't remember what the fuck the game's called now. But they like the bridge looked exactly how it looked in the show. All these other rooms, the warp core, the mess hall, all those things look great. But you didn't see a lot of actually how it's laid out in the show, so they have to take artistic liberties there because there just isn't. And then the original Enterprise specifically, to me, you cannot accurately make a model of because it's not accurate within itself.
Yeah, you'd need to have
Because
some,
one,
like,
you have the
time work in
TOS
there.
version, and now you have Strange New Worlds. They're the same ship, but they're not the same ship.
Yeah, it's also huge. I mean,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
real life, in real life, if it were built, it would be epically, colossally massive.
The
Galaxy
one
Edge of
thing the
Manhattan
Abrams
Island.
films got right.
Yeah,
Ju-
yeah.
Just that they are
No,
incredibly
it's actually
massive.
crazy. The original series ship isn't even that crazy big compared to the rest of the ships in the universe.
Yeah.
Like Enterprise D is like so much fucking bigger. And at least
Yeah.
there's like actually pretty good diagrams of that ship. Like not great, but decently good. TOS,
Mm.
no, absolutely not. Nobody knew where anything was on that ship.
Yeah. I this is maybe the most fun that I've had in having a hope and dream crushed by like logic and fact. This is just because at the same time, no, here's my thing. At the same time as me coming in here super excited to like like someone giving someone a Christmas gift, or like, ooh, look what I found for you, handing you what I thought was like the holy grail of Star Trek fandom and gaming fandom combined. I'm also like just learning a fuck ton about how about how parts of the industry and the history of these games work. In the, and you guys telling me how this is not as feasible as it sounds, and this probably is a pipe dream in the way that they want you to imagine it. But I'm still excited in case it surprises us. You know.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
I hope it's great, but then I read
Yeah.
a paragraph like this on their Kickstarter. Once we're in early access and the game is in a solid alpha state, if we then find additional funding is
Oh.
needed to achieve a full polished release, we are confident we can generate revenue through the sale of small DLCs, such as new ships. In addition to this, we also have a few other avenues we can explore. They do not expand on that. We will not, however, resort to implementing microtransactions, except for all of the small DLCs. It's a small
Yeah.
DLC, not a microtransaction, you see.
It's also the first thing that you mentioned sounded like the first the first thing that you mentioned sounded like it was deliberately overly worded like a lawyer, and they were
Yeah.
trying
Oh,
to
they are
kinda,
doing that throughout everything I'm reading.
yeah.
They don't say, "Oh, it's going to be on Steam." They say, "We are distributing on the Steam ecosystem."
Oh,
Yay.
what?
Who the
Oh,
fuck says that?
Who are
Yeah.
you? Ugh.
Yeah.
But
Uh-oh.
yeah. Well, anyway, this wasn't meant
Got
to
your
be a
big
drama
scam.
fest, but I guess we're turning it into one. Yeah. So be
Just a quick
skeptical.
point I thought I'd chuck in there. Their Patreon, they earn $884 a month on Patreon, and Dr. Beef earn probably a good half more than what they do.
Wait,
So there you go. As a
wait, sorry. Can you
comparison.
repeat that?
Dr. Beef, Beef. They do the ports for side quests and stuff. For Quest.
Okay.
Their Patreon is like half as much more per month than what these guys have already got, and they haven't got any crazy ambitious goals in the future like these guys have, and whatever. But yeah, just thought,
Yeah.
just thought I'd let you know.
Do you guys? Okay.
Yeah,
So now my
yeah.
question is: do you think that they're being stupidly ambitious, or do you think they're trying to scam people?
They're in over their
I-
heads. They've got no idea.
I think
and
they're in over
trying
their
to
heads.
Get as much.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Definitely
I'm
just learning
reading
new
more on their Kickstarter. I have found 2 people who are working on this in their names. So there's Dan Govier or Govier, I don't know how he pronounces it. But is currently the sole developer of Starship Simulator.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in the video. Oh dear.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Um,
Oh dear.
he dabbled with various personal projects over the years while working in IT until unexpected redundancy presented the opportunity to become a game developer.
Uh-oh.
He apparently
later.
joined the Stage 9 Enterprise D project crew, which for anyone that doesn't know is the VR enterprise experience that got taken down because Paramount's an asshole. And then when they pivoted to working on recreating the Orville, he also worked there. So he's like, I don't know what he did specifically, but he was on the team that made those renditions, which are pretty cool. They do not perform very well. For anyone who's played them, I'm sure you've realized they run like shit. He said he's moved from Messy Desk. I don't know what Messy Desk is. He says he's co-found Messy Desk. They do not tell me what that is. But he moved on from it for Starship Simulator. He's been dreaming about it for decades, and gaming hardware and technology have finally caught up with his ambition.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh, that's some Steve Jobs ass shit. Oh my god.
And then they have a social media manager, I guess. This is the other person, Claire. Claire Govier, so is his wife, presumably, or sister, I guess. But
Probably his wife, because he has mentioned it
also
twice,
instrumental
probably
in
his
building strong working relationships with key studio partners, such as the showrunners of the Orville. So I guess they worked with getting the Orville VR project made.
What was the Orville VR project, by the way? I don't think I've ever.
It's just walking
that.
around the ship, the
Oh,
Orville.
okay.
No, I never tried it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, it ran like shit. It's cool, but I don't know how anyone runs that in VR without fucking 5 graphics processors. Yeah, so she performs many roles in studio, from HR to Discord mom.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Busy.
Oh my god. Yeah.
HR. They haven't employed anybody.
Yeah.
Their
That's,
audioscape is being developed by former Frontier legend Jose Luis Gonzalez Castro. It cut the name
from
off. I
Elite
couldn't read it
Dangerous.
full. Yeah, that's Elite
That's from
Dangerous,
Elite
which that's
Frontier.
cool.
okay.
someone who
Yeah.
I actually know the work of.
Keep in mind, by the way, just to interrupt real quick, nothing we're saying here is intended to be like mean spirited. It's just like we're pointing out some red flags and
No, yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, because these guys, I'm
get it.
sure they just sound like they're so happy go lucky and they're really ambitious and want to make something good. They're just like we
They're
said,
just
they're in
sick,
over
yeah.
their heads.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
And
it.
I hope they prove us wrong, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
it'd be
we're
great
waiting
if they
for.
proved
That'd
us
be
wrong.
great. It'd be great if in 50 years the game would come out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
50
just this is one of those cases where I'm going to be ecstatic at looking stupid. Well, I already look stupid, but now the other way around. Yeah.
Race characteristics, tech level 12, xenophobia 75%. What the fuck does that
What-
mean?
what the fuck does- Where did you get that?
That's on Kickstarter. It's one of the like little I don't even know what to call these little banners that they have. Each alien race will have a procedural personality traits that directly impact how they respond to your presence. And like their
Oh, okay.
depiction of that is a big head, bulging eyes, green alien.
Oh.
Aggression 60%. Again, what the fuck does that mean?
I'm gonna say, by
Angry
the way,
space.
again before
It means
before we
angry
continue,
space Nazis.
But not
God.
too angry.
I want to say before
Mildly
we continue
upset.
also,
Mildly
I
upset
looked-
space Nazis. Yeah.
I looked into this as far as the breakdown video and the Steam page. For some reason, I never gave thought to look at the Kickstarter page. But yeah, so that's what we're doing now. Really, it's big bug-eyed green aliens.
That is the
it's a
only
great
image of an
title.
alien they have so
Company.
far.
What do you get if you give them money
You're
on Kickstarter?
Yeah, what do you get?
Let's
if
see.
you give them money?
You get
You're
regret.
supposed to oversell yourself
is-
anyway, right?
Buyer's remorse. No.
So for £10, proudly display your backer uniform patch in game. £25, become an expert on the Magellan class with a digital tech manual. I gotta have a manual for this, and I gotta pay $25 for it.
Interesting.
$50,
like-
design your own star system from its name to its array of planets. That does not sound like a lot of customization, but okay.
That sounds fun.
It seems
Yeah.
most of their backers is doing that. 1,397 backers. £100, design your own alien race from its name to its history and culture for only $100. Well, $126.
Wait,
That-
hold on.
Stupid alien race.
And that's
Wait.
476 people backed at that tier so far.
That's a lot of aliens.
Absolute that the amount of work that takes. No, you need to be spending like thousands on this thing to get your own alien race.
Wait a minute.
No, hold
like,
on. I
I don't know.
because
I-
you
I'm
said
sorry.
design your own star system, and
Yeah, that was 50.
no, because that sounds great and that sounds cool,
But-
but they also said it was a shared experience. Where the fuck are the space for all of these only $50 customized star systems going?
Yeah,
Space is
I-
pretty
Yeah.
big, though.
space is
Because,
pretty
like, I could
big.
underst-
I wasn't
I
really
could-
worried about the space for that.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Look at-
space is
I'm
infinite,
sur-
right?
They haven't said the word procedural at any point, which if you're designing a universe,
I
is
thought they said
surely-
proceed. Well, they said
They've
procedural
said
in the breakdown.
procedural many
Of the
times.
galaxy.
Oh, gotcha.
okay.
As in
Okay, I
one-to-one
withdraw
Yeah.
my
the galaxy.
previous objection.
Wait, is
Yeah.
it like a
No,
video
but-
game or?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, no,
I
we're
came
talking
in
about a
little
video game.
late.
So for those who've come in very recently, we're talking about an upcoming video game that does not yet have a release date, but it sounds cool on paper. Called it's not Starship Troopers. Every time I hear the name Starship, that's what comes to mind. Starship
Yeah.
Simulator. Yeah, Starship Simulator.
Mm.
And it looks really
Realistic
cool when you see the breakdown.
procedural generation is what
Yeah.
they are
That's what it is.
describing.
It's one-to-one multiplayer and procedural. That's what they're saying. of
One-to-one
the
multiplayer
galaxy,
procedural.
The Milky Way.
Well, my favorite
Well,
thing is it's realistic procedural. The fuck
Their
does that
Patreon
mean?
is
It means it's like real
$100?
life. It's like I
So-
I don't.
We are
I-
talking
yeah.
about the Kickstarter right now.
Yeah.
And so that
Fuck.
$100, $126 is design your own alien race,
Oh.
Well, I guess
which
realistic
is still way
means,
too low.
I guess realistic means a billion lifeless planets.
Who wants to go in?
Oh
Yeah.
and
yeah,
chip in a
that there
billion?
would be a lot of lifeless planets with realistic,
Let's all
because
go in and chip
but
in.
I so
Procedurally
when you say
generated using real astrophysics? Fuck off.
okay,
You're
I
just
want to say
saying
this.
words.
I just want to say when you say terms like that bunched together, um, as much as and again we don't think that these people are actively scam artists. The people I'm about to talk about were but there was a what was it 10, 15 years ago there was a project that like got a bunch of people excited, but it was also kind of hollow promises. Where there was like this game engine, I think that they were working on. You might have heard about it. This game engine where it wouldn't use polygons, but it would use like atoms instead, like real life, supposedly. And
Fuck.
d- d- I swear to God, in
Micro
private I've
voxel.
talked to you about this before,
I
but
do not remember this.
but yeah, there was like this like promised game engine that that it would like everything would be a lot more real. They had like a whole bunch of jargon behind why it would be more realistic, but the promise was because everything was made out of atoms instead of polygons, be able to do more realistic physics simulations and particle effects and everything, and obviously that never fucking happened because that's not how computers
That's
work.
If
But
only we had thought of it.
com- yeah, like
Why didn't we
combining
just start with simulating the universe?
yeah, just like that's what this starts to feel like. But no, yeah. Um so either this is never going to come out or we are going to have our pants blown off, and either way I think we're going to find beautiful things to play.
Well,
If
dude, you are missing the it comes out and it's just massively disappointing.
I'm just either way we'll have beautiful things to play, because if it doesn't come out we'll still have it, and those things will still exist if it comes out and is disappointing.
Well, look at the
Um
timescales of Elite
I mean,
Dangerous and Star Citizen.
yeah,
Those guys are still
yeah.
crunching away with millions of dollars of investment, and they still haven't got what these guys are dreaming of. You know?
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
it's
I think that's
it's a bit
silly.
much, but
If
I
we
would so
create,
on a lighter note though, I would like to move on to the next topic. Just because like
okay,
we've dogged on this quite a bit, but
Well, we
I
didn't. Let's get through the
okay,
Kickstarter pledges you can get through,
My fault.
because
okay,
there
okay,
are more than the hundred
okay,
pound here.
okay. How many
So
are there?
for I don't know, there's not too many more, just a few.
Okay,
But for $629, enjoy a lifetime content pass and cruise around in your exclusive yacht. What is the lifetime content? I thought this was a free game.
I guess
Okay.
it's the DLC.
well, because they did say there'd be DLC,
I get
so I
that
can see where
is
they're
the
going with lifetime
small
content
that's their
passes.
microtransactions, and I'm just going to call them for what they are because they didn't want to call them
Yeah.
for what they are.
I have a question.
Mhm.
I'm gonna megaphone you. What's your
Sorry.
question?
Just a quick question, it might tell you. So, like, if you actually pay that money to, like, say, build a race, right? An alien race, aren't you essentially paying someone while you're also doing all the work for them?
That's a really good fucking point.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't go into how you're going to be doing that. I presume you're the idea person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The
Not like 3D
infamous idea
modeling.
person.
Gotcha,
Yeah, and
gotcha.
presumably
Okay.
they would make it, which is a
Which if you're paying
ridiculous
to be
price for only $100.
yeah, if you're paying to be the idea person, then it's not as annoying of a concept. But yeah. Yeah, but I mean, God,
But yeah,
I'm wondering if there's gonna be anybody who like pays for that, who actually like puts in the work. Like, hey, I actually have models if you want to use them. Like
Right.
they just like put in their own blood, sweat, and tears into it just because they believe in it so much. And like, there's probably somebody who's gonna do that if we're being honest. But yeah. So what else?
Also,
I
the, the,
well,
the, the ability to pay that if it happened, which it doesn't look like it will, but if it did, and just take the piss is colossal. You know, I paid my money. I want rainbow space bunnies that fart carrots, you know, etc., etc.
Honestly, I'd give it to him. If I had the money, I'd give it to him. I just that because that sounds incredible, and it sounds like something that would be great if you made it feel real.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, because like there is a lot of
Right.
room in that kind of system for like, oh, they managed to take this real like ridiculous idea and make it into like an actually engaging and fun to be around mechanic, which it could also crash and burn. But I do like the room for stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just me. But
Also,
Ashley,
yeah.
here's
No,
another example of
mm,
how I think these people
uh,
don't really know what they're talking about. Um, so use of AI. I plan to use AI generate content in this project. And they go on to talk about what specifically and all.
wait, what?
They're mainly large language model and AI generated voices, which they promise aren't based on any real voices. But we know how far promises with AI go.
Right.
But it does say the AI voices we use from 11 labs are entirely synthetic, in no way an attempt to mimic any real persons, living or dead. If we do add a large language model in the future, it will be trained on our own data and will not be capable of discussing any topics outside of the game world. Bullshit.
Bull.
Actual
That's
no,
bullshit.
yeah,
that's just
total.
not how it
Yeah,
works. That's not how
no,
language models work.
the
no.
the leading language models cannot promise they won't talk about certain things.
Yeah, I mean, it can be now. It can be really hard to get them to do that because as much as like people have talked about, ha ha ha, I managed to like say certain things and get ChatGPT to talk about X Y Z. But like, I mean, like I haven't known a lot of people personally who actually successfully did that, and I've known a lot of people who fucking tried. And so you can get it to be really hard. You can't get it to be impossible. It's just not
Yeah, and I think also the specific like market they're hitting with this game are also the very same people who would get it to do whatever they wanted.
yeah.
Um, so I don't think that's great. But anyway, let's go on to more of the tiers for Kickstarter. For $1,258, work with our team to design a shuttle or other small vehicle. Also, shuttles are in one of the stretch goals that is not there yet. They have not unlocked that stretch goal, so I wonder how many of these 10 backers won't be able to actually get a shuttle. Um,
Also, that should come before a race. Like that should like
a
designing a
race is
shuttle.
so much more work.
Yeah, it's like design a cute little ship. You could design it to look like one of those fucking like bathtub boats, and it'd still be okay looking in the in the world. But a whole race is much more dynamic. History there.
And the final one for $3,145 is work with the team to design a starship class capable of supporting a small crew. So
Wait, can you repeat that?
for $3,145, work with the team to create a starship class capable of supporting a small crew.
Okay,
So you get an
but
opinion?
that sounds that sounds like
Yeah,
what other tiers
yeah.
do, basically. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I guess instead of a shuttle where it's a couple people, it's like 10 people in a slightly bigger ship. I don't know. I feel like they're
that
way
must
in
have
over their
hurt.
head.
Hmm.
We'll see where they get off to with it.
I
I think
honestly, even though they're likely not going to reach a fraction of what they're promising, they're probably gonna get somewhere, and I'll love to see what the result of that. Because I don't think they're just gonna fucking fall off the face of the earth. I'm gonna mark my words, but but I don't think they're just gonna fuck off
I
with it.
mean,
I think they're
you
gonna
might
do
see
a
them in
whole bunch of
court
stuff,
someday.
and then it's like we can't do the rest of this. We got to refund you guys, and I want to see how far they get with that. I want to see where I want to see how far they get in the marathon before they got to start just walking. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is one of those projects that falls off the face of the earth for 5 years and then has like, oh, here's the game, and then disappears.
Or a big
Yeah,
class
and then like
action
no
lawsuit.
updates. But yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be at some
Anyway,
point.
though, good luck and blessed. Wait, did somebody have another thing to say?
I'll only say if something like this was going to be built and I was the billionaire funding it and not spending the money on reducing world poverty,
Sure.
as one should, I would I would create a world based on Ian Banks' culture novels because that would be a much more interesting world to simulate and populate it with LLMs, because
Well, I'd
LLMs
love
would
to
make for
explore that
crazy
more.
starships.
Yeah,
That
I
would
mean,
be
it
great.
sounds great. I'm gonna jot that down. But yeah, I mean, thanks for your input. Um, but
What we lack
oh,
in size, we
I like
more
the
than make up
subliminal
for in the
messaging
sheer
there.
amount of passion behind this project.
it's,
You
it's
don't.
not the
No,
same thing,
no,
but it
no.
rings as it rings as like when companies are hiring people and they go, yeah, this is a family.
Literally.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Anyway, so but on a lighter note, I have a question specifically for you, Ashley, and not inherently related to the game that we just spent God knows how much time
Hmm.
uh, talking
Most of
about.
the
But
episode.
yeah, um, um, I want to know because okay, especially, and this is not like I'm gonna start this in an Apple direction, but this is not an Apple focused topic. Um, especially since the Apple Vision Pro came out, and I've started, seeing more, like looking into more
Seeing the light.
news and like breakdowns, breakdowns about that specific device. I started getting back into a rhythm that I was in as a teenager of like looking at tech breakdowns and tech news for stuff that like even if I had a stupid amount of money, I'm not sure that I'd ever really buy, but I like knowing why they're useful to so many people and seeing them broken down and seeing why certain innovations are important to, your average consumer stuff that like, is in the realm of AI and as it would be these days. I don't like looking into AI, but I like hearing as to like why it's useful for the common consumer outside of stealing creative jobs. But my question for you is, um, like, besides just Apple, like, how much do you actually like? What's your general like tech news consumption habits? Like how much do you recreationally look into stuff like tech news?
Not very often. Usually it's just all happen by it
Hmm.
because of how I structure my feeds on social media. So it's like every now and then I'll be like, oh, that's a cool thing. And I mean, when phones come out, I hear about them. When a new like line of graphics cards or something, I mean, you hear about them. But I do not go out looking for much tech news. In fact, for anything tech related right now, I just want the fucking Lenovo Legion Go, which is a Switch, but it runs Windows and is much more powerful.
Oh yeah.
I want that so bad.
Is that like a Steam Deck of sorts? Is like that what it's
Yeah, it's a
supposed to
Steam Deck
compete with?
type product, but instead of where the Steam Deck is just this one piece, the controllers on either side snap off like a Switch controllers do.
Oh, okay. Can you do it and make it look like you're breaking it, but not actually break it?
That is from what I've seen of people using it is exactly how you get them off. It looks like you're breaking it.
Just
But then when we fall out
yeah,
with China, it
yeah,
will destroy you.
yeah. Um, I remember looking into when I remember years ago, what was it, GPD Win? Something like there was like okay, there was one that I was
Yeah.
really excited about, one of these devices where it looked legitimately just like a like DS sized laptop. And it had the like Xbox-ish controls on it, Xbox adjacent, and so like you would just hold it like it's I don't even know how yeah, you'd hold it like a DS and you'd like thumb the little keyboard like you would those like really old, not super old, but like Xbox 360, keyboard like docking connectors to the controller. Do they still make those, by the way, for modern Xboxes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they so kind of like that, but with a laptop interface on a Windows machine, and it only ran so well, of course. But technology's been much more able recently to like
Yeah, I mean,
pack a
I
lot
think they
into a
still
tiny
make those
space.
GDP wins. I'm not sure
Hmm.
how good they are, but I think they're still making new ones.
Yeah, they just have like more of the
I say
capacity
that like
to
I
make
don't have a
better
fucking
equipment.
window in front of me that I could look it up.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, just because I started looking more into like people like Marquez Brownlee, even though like maybe a 14th of anything that people like him ever talk about is something where I'm like, yeah, I'd like to buy that at some point. It's kind of like watching cooking videos for me, where it's like I know I'll make it most a fraction of this, but I like knowing how it works and seeing all the sizzle and pop and you know understanding why it incorporates into people's lives so closely. And yeah, so
The
wait, so what were
GDP
you looking?
Win 4, which is looking to release this year, looks a lot like a PSP now. The screen slides up to show that little keyboard, a lot like those old phones used to.
That's so
Right.
cute.
Ooh.
Is for anyone that knows anything about specs,
Proprietary.
has an AMD Ryzen 8840U. Can come with either 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes RAM. DDR5. Yeah, I'm not gonna read all these mega transfers, whatever the fuck those mean. It comes in 512 gigabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, and they're all PCIe 4 SSDs.
And it's £1,324 on AliExpress.
I
Holy
God
cow.
damn.
It's a lot of
God, fuck.
headphones.
But yeah, I mean, if it's useful
It
to you,
does look
then
really fucking sleek though.
oh, most of these
Mm.
do. They look at very least pretty. No matter how well they function, it's got a nice
Well, the
little.
thing with a lot of these like
Mm.
Steam Deck competitors is they are like about as big or a little bigger than the Steam Deck, which is already a pretty chunky piece of hardware.
Yeah.
But this literally looks like a PSP.
Oh, like PSP size?
Yeah.
Wow. Like I never know how. Like, okay, so phones have kind of gone past like, even just smartphones have gone way past way quicker what I thought they would in terms of performing power. I thought it would take like 20 years to get as good at processing shit as they can now, but now we have like a reasonable amount of flagship phones that you could connect to a display and reasonably use as a basic laptop
Hmm.
without like even much stuttering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even think it'd be that hard. Yeah,
Even
you
the
you just need to
government
get like a
knows.
dock for it and it connects to like a display and a keyboard. And I'm just like I became so impressed with it because especially back when Nvidia tried no, it wasn't Nvidia. It was Razer that tried making a phone. And I'm like I was shocked by what it seemed like that could run. And I'm like, yeah, I guess tech just moves faster and smaller than I ever thought it could.
Yeah.
It's what dreams are made of. Ah,
Yeah. I think
yeah.
phones have hit a big problem of thermal throttling as well as power supply. It's really
Yeah.
limited. There isn't that much new processor. They advertise a lot more processor in a new phone, but when you stop and benchmark them, you discover that it rapidly hits thermal throttling, uh, and there isn't as much there as the headline spec. But we don't need more anyway. I mean, we just want more
Mhm.
battery life. We don't need more processor anymore in our phone. You know,
If my
it's enough
honestly,
already.
if my
Well, you
phone
see,
acts like yeah,
the thing with processing power on phones, what's really sad is a lot of younger people don't really use like classic computers. Like their computer is their phone
mhm.
a
Yeah.
lot of the time.
Yeah, they
I
don't use like a
know
laptop until they get to college usually. Yeah.
even if they
Mm.
do, that sometimes they're just going to go to the tablet.
That's right.
Yep.
Shit.
Like
I hated
so
it.
there are a lot of people that grow up with all of this amazing technology that don't know how like folder systems work because they've never been on a device that actually uses them.
Excuse
Wait,
me,
you don't
excuse
use
me.
folder
You don't
systems
use
on your
folder
phone?
systems on your phone? You don't
Yeah, I was just
organize
thinking.
things in the
Well, it
folders on
happens.
your phone? What kind of madness
The
is
average
this?
person does not because most of the time you're doing
Yeah.
it within an app. Like if you're organizing your
Yeah.
photos, you're using
I
your
guess
Photos app.
so.
Yeah, the folders are there, but it's kind of mostly hidden from view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's meant to be
Yeah.
like yeah, folders are something I think folders are made to be used with like unless you're a power user, they're made to be used with like desktop style screen,
Hmm.
but like
I mean,
it's yeah.
I guess they're using folders in their cloud storage, but if you're using it to any extent, then you're bundling off all your stuff into into Google Drive or OneDrive or even
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
iCloud. Dare I say it?
I think the cloud has taken away a lot of this. I think and like here's my thing. It makes things existential for consumer level computers because it's like I guess you just like a lot of people unless they got to do stuff that's just either supremely inconvenient on a um on a tablet or a phone, or literally incapable of it, like gaming. Like I assume stuff like accounting, if you're going into that, you can't really do on a tablet very well or a phone, and you need to get at
Mm,
least a laptop to manage all of that.
mm,
If you're managing data sets and things like that. And then like recreationally, I guess yeah, it's mostly just if people want something with a lot of horsepower to either create content or to game, then yeah, there's not a lot of like there's not a lot of recreational incentive to get a computer. I never really thought of it that way, and I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't know that I like it per se. Um,
Yeah, I don't necessarily
I,
like it. It is just
I
how it
guess
is, though.
I
yeah,
guess we're talking the casual gaming versus non-casual gaming split to a big extent here.
that too,
Yeah.
because there's
I mean,
yeah,
any pro user is probably going to be getting a PC, absolutely. And for certain activities, even creation wise, yeah, you're probably going to end up with some kind of desktop computer, be a laptop sitting on your desktop. But um, for the average person, they don't need it.
also as especially VR
Mm,
technology evolves, I can see a certain amount of power users that like have not grown up with the necessity of a computer like we did. Um
I mean,
Yeah.
or closer to necessity. I could see them just like settling for a decently powerful phone or tablet and a standalone VR headset cuz even like the Quest 2 or 3 can do it can do some pretty decent shit if you get it situated right, and that's only gonna get better. And and I'm saying in terms of at very least screen size. Obviously,
Well,
VR kind of
if
just takes care
Apple
of that.
gets their way, spatial computing is going to be taking over a lot.
Yeah,
Like
that
that
just
is the biggest unknown for the future of computers right now. Is spatial computing going to take off? I don't know.
yeah,
it's just
I don't
I
think I
agree. I
can
mean,
say one way or the
it
other
I,
convincingly
I
right
mean,
now.
it's kind of are the screen's going to become a headset? Yeah. Um,
it's
the
like I don't
computing might still be, if you need the grunt, it may still have to be, in a kind of desktop VR type arrangement. But whether you can ditch the screen for a headset, I think is maybe not right now, but that I think is where Apple are going, and it's definitely it's as display tech improves and costs fall and everything else, I don't really see why not.
Yeah,
I do want to say that
especially like
like
from
mm,
mm,
yeah.
from what I've heard about the usage of people with their Apple Vision Pros, it's a lot more based on iPad OS than Mac OS or anything like that. Um, so what it seems like they want to do is like really market this to the average person. Because if it was for the power user, it would be running Mac, right?
hmm
But
I
a lot of the standardized apps that you would use, like Notes, Sheets, all of those other applications, are based off of the iPad OS version. So I think Apple really wants it to be, oh yeah, in every home somebody has a Vision Pro, and that is
like
their like relaxation, getting away from their phone but still want to use technology alternative.
I think
Sorry.
that there is a genuine, deep, and important utility to to I don't know. I think there's an importance to at least at the point of if there's any kind of like flagship technology that you have in your home, that is like because back at a certain point it was like if you had in any household, if you had the budget for it, you would probably have reasonable utility for having a computer. and it would have a place in your life. It would have whether it be just for filing documents, and spreadsheets, and you know the occasional email or two, or it would be fully fledged for like things like watching YouTube, playing games, and creating content all alongside each other, because a computer all at once has a lot more like in terms of a window system. It has a lot more that you can do at once with it than a phone or a tablet. And I think even a lot of people, I think, would be overwhelmed by doing as many things at once as we're comfortable doing on a computer with something like even, a fancy spatial computing system, unless they're a power user, in which case you're, fine with in every single corner looking,
I
looking at
just
whatever.
I'm
Oh yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I just want to say this is great and I love this. And this is awesome. This is but I also wanted to ask to what extent, because I just came in with no context. I guess I
Sure.
didn't read Discord or something. To what extent is this rhetorical? Because I don't have much to say. I just want to know
Oh,
I'm being polite basically and not,
fair.
you know. Yeah, so it's just a question, I guess. Like um
Yeah.
yeah.
So the basic premise of the event is we get up here and talk about stuff. If you do have something to say, raise your hand. Hopefully, we'll notice you. If we
No,
don't
I've
start
just been
waving or
interrupting
something, I guess.
rudely. I've just
Yeah, I mean,
sorry,
interrupted
interrupting's
rudely.
fine as well, as long as you're not, you're not running
I
over us.
I couldn't hear
Yeah.
you over the interrupting.
But yeah, talking is absolutely fine. We would rather you raise your hand and we'll call on you to talk if
Okay.
you have something to
Sure,
say.
sure.
Um,
So you guys are
but
talking about the screen that kind of like the almost six-dimensional screen, eh? That kind of curves around you. Is that what you guys are referring to, folks? Sorry,
Uh,
I don't know what your
Hmm?
gender.
Oh, dead
Yeah.
Steve fucking died. Uh,
Oh no.
I'm not sure six-dimensional screen. But no, we were just talking about the Apple Vision Pro. What it might
Oh, I haven't
mean
tried it.
for, yeah, what spatial computing might mean for the future of casual computing. Because
I
I don't think, at least right now, from what I see, especially what Apple's doing, it seems they are
mhm.
targeting the average consumer, even though their price point isn't targeting the
Mhm.
average consumer. The
Yeah.
experience seems to definitely be targeting that average consumer, and they'll eventually probably get that price down and down to where like
I
people
can
are buying $1,000 phones every year anyway.
yeah.
If they can get it
Yeah.
to like 1,500, you know, I mean, people are still buying the Macs. The Macs are still,
Yeah.
1,700, 1,800,
I can see their
$2,000.
AR technology being very advanced because I never bought an Apple product in my life up until this year.
Mhm.
I bought a iPad. And the AI, like the AR technology, like I was testing out how to like you can measure stuff that exists in real life,
Mm.
and it'll show
Yeah,
like a line that exists in 3D space, but like it's relative. Like if you move around, and it's like holy crap, it actually works. Because I tried two things. I measured something with the augmented reality um, line that it gave me, uh, and it was like part of a wall or something. And then I measured kind of like the same thing roughly, and it was like pretty on point. So it's like their AR
yeah,
technology is really cool, I think. And there's a lot of with the Apple Vision Pro, I assume there's AR technology. I think there's a lot of potential
definitely.
there for some really cool apps.
Yeah, what you bring up with measuring, it's actually not that uncommon to see an iPad on a construction site for exactly that reason.
Oh yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it's
I wouldn't be
actually really
surprised.
good for measuring.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also
um,
the audio system is amazing on Apple products. It's just it's night and day if you do music production stuff, but I don't want to go into it.
yeah,
It's not my show.
nah,
Just
Yeah,
you're
kind of
yeah,
like a
good.
little
that's
side note,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
They do
I mean,
sometimes
we were
well.
about to end anyway because we have gone a little over, and I don't know
Oh,
where the fuck Steve went. But
I'm so sorry.
tangents don't matter.
I wish I came earlier because this is pretty cool. I love this.
No, you're
I
good.
just I
I mean,
got
we do
drawn
it every
into a
week.
screen. Awesome.
Yeah. So we do it every week
Hmm.
here, or okay, Lunar, we try to do it every week here. We have been unsuccessful in that, but we are scheduled to be here every week at around this time. If you
Awesome.
want to see us elsewhere, yeah, we have a website, mrsashley.gay, ASHLEY.gay, where
Mhm.
we have started to do the show on Twitch as well as of last week, which I think it went really well.
Nice.
So we're definitely gonna continue doing that. I also just stream random stuff as well myself, which you can find that on the
Sorry.
website. Oh, there's Steve. Steve come just in time
There
for
they
us
are.
to show our links. There we go. Steve, are you there?
I think you're muted, Steve.
I think Steve's dead. This is a skinwalker.
Wait, not if you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
We just
Oh,
heard
okay.
you.
Oh, okay. There we
Yeah,
go.
we do.
Okay, I thought I was gonna have to restart the headset again. No, I had to restart the headset once because I'm like, wait, the space isn't loading back up. But yeah. Anyway, are
Oh
we doing
no.
the outro now?
Yeah, I was in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the website, you can also join the Discord. Not too much happens there, but I'm going to be putting when we go live on Twitch there, and you can follow on Twitter. I'm also on Blue Sky, so you'll get notifications there. And where can people find you, Steve?
Most of my shit is under the name Mystery Steve, as you see here. Although on Instagram, where I put my cartoons, that's .toons at the end of that. Um, and for the improv events that I do with buddies, most of them you can find a link to at improvvr.co.uk. That's improv, then an r.co.uk. And I had so much fun here.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost 15 minutes over now, so we had a lot to talk about two topics essentially.
Yeah. And I got a ripe one for next time.
Nice.
Like,
Insight.
Gonna hold that one in. Well, that it
Mhm.
ripens with time.
Yeah, it's aging. It's currently fermenting inside of my body.
Anyway, that was the show.
That's the last
My
thing.
body
That's
is
the last
ready.
thing I said. Yeah.
I got some cheese in my body, and that cheese is a representation of my goals and interests.
Is the stream still going, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh,
Turn that
you can
shit
cut
off.
it if you want. Yeah.